we can move on to another segment that we had planned and talk about the Spotify classics, because I know you had brought it up a little while ago that Spotify has like a new like section of albums where they have like 12, I would say. I think it's like 12 albums for each
I think it's
category,
more.
right?
I think it's
More?
more. I think it's more.
I don't know. Basically, it's a handful of albums that Spotify selected as their classic rap albums of the streaming era, and then the Spotify classic R&B albums of the streaming era.
So basically, hip hop and rap albums, hip hop and R&B albums from 2015 onwards.
Yeah. So there are a few that didn't make the cut for both that I would like to talk about. But first, let's talk about the ones that actually made it. And I'll go down the list real quick for the rap ones if you want to do it for the R&B ones. I don't know if you haven't pulled them up. If not,
I got them pulled up.
Okay. So for rap, the first one, we've got Damn by Kendrick Lamar. We've got 444 by Jay-Z. Flower Boy by Tyler, the Creator. 17 by XXXTentacion. Astroworld by Travis Scott. DS2 by Future. Dial It by Playboi Carti. Culture by Migos. Igor by Tyler, the Creator. To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. Victory Lap by Nipsey Hussle. Bandana by Freddie Gibbs and Madlib. Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial by Roddy Ricch. And we've got Lil Uzi versus the World. Lil Uzi versus the World. Oh, no, not the second one. My bad. And Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler. And Care For Me by Saba.
Honestly, out of those names right there, I'm pretty much benefit out of a lot of them. The only ones that I would replace out of those ones, as far as hip hop, I'd definitely take out Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial by Roddy Ricch. And I would replace it with The Life of Pablo. I think you have to have a Kanye album. And I think that's still, and for me, it's a toss up between that and Donda, but Donda still has some time. Like, my whole thing when it comes to a classic, I think it has to reach like 4 or 5 years before I can say an album is a classic or not. So for me, I'm not really going to say any albums north of 2021 are classics. So T-Lock came up in 2016. I think it's earned the right that I think in my case, it's my second favorite Kanye album, and I think it's been Kanye's best album since 2015.
You know, I think that's fair. I was thinking about Kanye albums because I noticed that he was one of the big names that I didn't see on this category. And I was wondering what album would fit best. And I think you're right. I think Life of Pablo would probably be the one that you could slide in there because it was very influential. Man, but taking out Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial is...
I think that's easily the worst hip-hop album on that list. It's a good album. It's a really, really good album, but it's easily the worst.
You're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong, dude, honestly. Yeah, that is tough because all these albums are really great.
And another one I would probably consider taking out is I love those 3 Tyler, the Creator albums.
But I was just about to say.
If I have to take one out, my Ethan Hamilton's least favorite out of those 3 Tyler, the Creator albums is got to be Flower Boy. And I take that out and I have to put a Drake album. Like, I have to have a Drake album there.
Interesting. Okay, so that I might catch a lot of flack for this one, but I was thinking of that too. And I was like, Tyler's got 3 on this, and I think they're all deserving to be in this category. But if I had to get rid of one, me personally, I'd get rid of Igor because I don't really think it's a rap album.
You're nuts.
No. I don't think it's really a rap album either.
So kind of for the R&B one.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But like in terms of rap albums, if you've already got Flower Boy and Call Me If You Get Lost, I think Igor is kind of like the odd man out for me personally. I don't think it's not a great album or anything.
Igor is probably the best album out of the 3. You're nuts if you think it's the worst one. You're nuts. Stand 10 toes at it. Stand 10 toes at it.
I didn't say that. I just think personally, I don't enjoy it as much.
You're so full of shit. You get lost.
Personally, no, that's just me.
You're so full of shit. Yeah, fuck you. Because Igor is probably the best one out of the 3. Like,
man, are we gonna have people coming at me in the comments for this?
I think you are. I think you're like, you can have your preference, of course. I'm not saying that, but like, man, fuck that shit. Like, Igor is the best one probably out of 3. My favorite's Call Me If You Get Lost, but I think Igor's better than it. I think it's definitely better than Flower Boy.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, like, I think it's better than Flower Boy 2, like substance wise and music wise. I don't know. There's something about Igor that makes it weird when you're putting it in comparison to like To Pimp a Butterfly, and you're putting it in the same category as Astro World, even though like they're like on the same level of influence, I would say, and the quality of it is pretty similar.
Igor's
It's
better
just
than most of these albums on this list.
that's actually
Like, it's
oh
definitely
I
better.
don't
It's better than a lot of these albums. Like, it really is. I can't believe that's the one that you're held up on. Okay, so if you take an Igor out, what are you replacing it with?
Well, okay, so I mean, Igor isn't the one I would take out before, like, excuse me for being antisocial. I would definitely take out that
So
one.
what's your substitution? Because I'm substituted Roddy's album for T-Lop. What are you taking? Because you're gonna keep Roddy's, or you're gonna take something out?
I'm gonna take Roddy's out too. I mean, if it came down to it and they were like, you have to take one out, it's gonna be excuse me for being antisocial. I just pointed out the Tyler one just because he had 3 albums on there, but the one I'd be switching out personally, this is one that I think was huge. I actually am not sure if it came out in 20. You said 2015 was the deadline?
Yeah.
I think this came out.
What album are you thinking of?
It's Goodbye and Good Riddance by Juice WRLD.
Ain't nobody gonna put that shit as a classic. Stop it, Gage.
Bro, come on. Hold on. Juice WRLD was doing crazy streaming numbers at the time, and you forget how big
Juice
Lucid Dreams was.
Lucid Dreams, like I do like that album, but we're talking about classics, the best of the best. Goodbye and Good Riddance, like, is not in this category, good buddy. It's not,
right.
it's not in this category. Like, yeah, you tripping about that.
Hey, I think it's a very influential album for its time, and I don't know. I mean, these are the like streaming, like some of the most influential streaming albums, and there really wasn't anyone in 2018.
All of Drake's albums from 2015 are better than Goodbye and Good Riddance.
Okay, now you're just riding meat.
No, I'm not. I'm here for
You're
real.
riding Drake's huge meat.
Pause, come on, man. Don't tell me you watched that video.
I didn't.
Yeah, I bet you fucking didn't.
I just heard about it. All right, man.
Yeah, I bet. For me, okay, so you're gonna take Goodbye and Good Riddance over Roddy's album. I definitely wouldn't do that, but I mean, you could just be wrong. I'm happy you. I mean, you could just be wrong. I would definitely take
ones too.
I would take Flower Boy, and I'm gonna switch it for Views. I don't know. My brother's gonna hate this because Views is not my favorite Drake album since 2015. My favorite Drake album from 2015 is. It's not a classic though. More Life is my favorite Drake album for 2015.
Oh, even worse, dude.
More Life, but it's not. But I'm not putting More Life on there. I think Views is probably a better album than More Life.
Okay, all right. I mean, I guess that works.
What other albums you got in there that you think they left out?
The next one I had was Playboi Carti's self-titled Playboi Carti.
You have that? You think that and Die Lit is a classic?
Yeah. Well, you don't think so?
No, I don't. I think Die Lit's bordering on a classic. I'm not mad at Die Lit. I don't think Whole Lot of Red is. I don't think.
Well, see, I think his self-titled is more like has more reason to be in this category than Whole Lot of Red.
I don't think so. I think his self-titled is his worst album.
I mean, okay, that's the thing is like, are we just talking about like the actual quality of the album? Because
it's both. You can't have a trash album in classics.
Well, I don't think they're trash, but they're also like they were also the albums that I've named so far. Okay, hold on. Yes,
the albums I've named difference. So far, yeah,
the albums I've named so far are not as good as a lot of the albums that are on this, but you could say that they were arguably more influential in that time period.
They can be influential, but they can also just be like all these albums were influential, but they could just also be considerably worse albums.
And who's to decide that?
Us, duh. That's why we have this. That's why we're here.
Yeah, that's the whole point of this podcast, I guess.
Exactly.
But, all right, you got one more album, man? Because I got one more.
For the hip hop one, not really. I think besides those two, I would put T-Lop in there, and I'd put Views. I'm gonna
Okay.
leave Lil Uzi Vert versus the World, and I'm gonna leave 17 by XXX and Tentacion. Those are gonna be the two that are like, what is it? What do you call it in March Madness? Like the last two in, last four out type shit. That's the last two
Like
in.
the
Is those two?
Cinderellas, like the
Yeah, like
Cinderella.
I'll leave those two alone, but I'm eyeing them for sure. I'm eyeing them for
Okay.
sure.
No J. Cole albums on this. He said no.
You're gonna make me say something I don't want to say. I do like
All right.
the offseason is my favorite Cole album, but Cole does not have a classic album yet for me.
You know what? I
Especially
think
not
fair.
the streaming era. Because when the 2014 Forces drives, a lot of people say it's his best album. I'm not gonna be mad if y'all say it is. I think offseason is, but 2014 Forces drives came out and way earlier than this. So
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you for that.
Okay. And then finally, if we have Igor on this album or Igor in this category, I'll also throw my guy Mac Miller's name into the hat with Swimming.
I'm not mad
No.
at that. I'm not
You're
mad
not
at
mad at
that.
it. Okay, wow. I'm surprised. All right. Surprised. You were very critical of the Juice WRLD pick, though.
For sure. Juice WRLD is
Yeah.
a classic. We gotta start. We're losing recipes. If
We're
we think
losing
Juice WRLD has a
recipes. Is crazy.
classic.
Yeah,
Juice WRLD is
no
not
Death
gonna
Race for
cut.
Love either.
Stop it.
No?
Stop it. No.
Ah.
No.
All right. Well, maybe
All right.
maybe I'm the minority, but let me know in the comments too, because maybe we have some Juice WRLD fans out there who will back me up on this.
Maybe, and they need to be arrested and locked up. And the other albums that I think are in classics, like the R&B side, I have no problem with Malibu by Anderson .Paak. I have no problem with Lemonade and Renaissance by Beyonce. Trap Soul is a classic. Mother by Cleo Soul, I don't think it's well known enough to be a classic, but I do really like that album. I think Freudian is a classic. I think Blonde's a classic. I think Ego Death by The Internet is a classic. I think Her by Her is good. It's really good. It's not a classic. It's not a classic. Hotels by Jasmine Sullivan. Again, really good. I don't think it's a classic yet. In like 2 years, we might be having that conversation. And then you have Anti by Rihanna. Seat at the Table by Solange. Control by SZA. And those are, and Igor, if you want to count that for an R&B album. I think.
Yeah, so how do you feel about Over It being on there? Because I saw a lot.
Over is amazing. Over is amazing.
Yeah?
Yes, Over is a classic. Over is a classic. I think an album that's gonna be here in 3 years is SOS by SZA.
I could definitely.
I think it's gonna be there. I think it's gonna be there. I think Into by Saunderson should be is a classic, and it should be here definitely over Her.
Okay, I've got a couple that I could throw in there too.
What you got?
My first one is Free Black.
I'm not mad at Free Black. Not mad at Free Black.
Right? That's a crazy album, man. And honestly, like I remember when it came out too. I feel like it was so big on the streaming platforms. They had like a whole like Apple Music version of some of the songs. Like X Calling, I think, and it was I can't remember what other ones they did on it, but yeah, it was a pretty big deal. And I think Black has grown so much as an artist. You could definitely include this album on there, I think.
I'm not mad at that. What else you got?
The next one I put was Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino.
I forgot about that. That's a classic.
Yeah. Right? I'm surprised it wasn't on there.
Awaken My Love is definitely a classic, and it should be on there. I would have put Those Feels Again by Snow Allegra. I think that is a classic.
Yeah, Snow Allegra.
But Awaken My Love, Awaken My Love, I might have ahead.
Oh.
And I'm not
okay, so is Awaken My Love ahead of Free Black too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Awaken My Love deserves to be on this list.
All right, my last one. I have a feeling you're not gonna like this one. I'm a little biased on this one, but I think Starboy by The Weeknd should also be on this list.
I'm not mad.
You're not mad at Starboy.
I don't think Starboy. I was gonna have Starboy in it. Starboy's not an R&B album to me.
Okay, so could you consider After Hours for this?
No, After Hours is not a classic. That's an album that definitely did not age well to me. I really liked it when it came out. Definitely towards The Weeknd's lower tier albums, in my opinion.
That's interesting. That's definitely interesting because, like, I feel like After Hours is more R&B driven than Starboy, but I don't know. I guess that's just how you feel about it because
It is. I just don't think After
I
Hours
still
is good
really
enough.
like that album.
I think After Hours isn't good enough to be considered. I'm down. I can have that conversation about Dawn FM if you want to have it, but I think Dawn FM not enough time has passed.
That's fair. Okay, I'll give you that, but I'll take it. 2 out of 3. Free Black and Awaken My Love.
Yeah. Awaken My Love for sure. Awaken My Love deserves to be on there. But honestly,
I don't have any other ones. I think
that's a pretty good list what Spotify put together for the classics list. Let us know what you guys got. Let us know what we missed out on. Let us know what you guys would have in the comments down below.
Yeah, or if you would take any of these albums out too, maybe we could talk about it on next week's podcast. Talk about some of the angry comments we're gonna get for some of these takes. I'm sure, because like I said, I'm sure we're gonna have some people come to my defense for the Juice WRLD album, and then some people who will also attack us for not including Playboi Carti or J. Cole on these lists. But I don't know. I guess that's up to our fans to decide, our lovely fans and listeners.